Did you hear me? Did the
Looks
recording
like
start?
you got the,
Yeah, I just muted myself, but yeah, the recording started. You're good to go. But
Okay, good. Well, guys, I'll go ahead and jump in here. It's a pleasure to be here on Mortgage Shots Kills Coaching. Of course, one of the main things that we look at is the Listing Booster product and how to make use of that, but it applies in so many different ways. This, too, can apply. Obviously, it will apply to Listing Booster directly. But outside of that, if you, for whatever reason, choose not to get the Listing Booster product, you can certainly attempt to do this on your own in other ways. It'll be effective no matter which way you do it, but Listing Booster obviously makes it really easy to do. So one of the things that I like the best about the product is that once you get connected to your real estate agents, you get informed every time they get a new listing. So you might think, okay, big deal, so I get informed when they get a new listing. And I want to take the time today to really make you understand that this is like the coolest thing ever when you get notified they get a new listing, because I just want everybody just needs to just take a breath here and sit back and just think about this. I just want you to digest this for a minute. Imagine yourself being a real estate agent. Okay, real estate is really, really difficult. It's not an easy career to be a real estate agent. It's very hard. Going out and getting listings and buyers and all that, and then running around and showing houses if you got buyers, and going on listing presentations, competing for a listing if you're a listing agent who doesn't have it in the bag. If you're literally competing for a listing against other agents, that's not easy. It's a very, very difficult job. And that's why I would say the average realtor only does, 6 deals a year. Could you imagine if you were a loan originator only did 6 deals a year? You wouldn't be a loan originator, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So it's a really tough gig, and they go through a lot to get those buyers into contract. I know this for a fact. My wife she retired from the state of California in December. She's started selling real estate again. And now I'm the husband, of the realtor, and so, she's a lady, so when she goes out showing properties or whatever, she wants the muscle to be there, which is me. So now I'm basically with her on all these appointments, and I see firsthand what it's like to go out, and even if you just got a buyer, I mean, she just got a couple in the contract. I swear to God, we showed them 30 houses, and it ain't easy. It's a lot of freaking work. And so that's why I just really think we need to have a great appreciation for these realtor partners to understand what they go through. It's not easy to get that buyer over to you. On the selling side as well, it's more difficult to be a listing agent than it is a buying agent. Most agents, when they get into the business, they have to start as a buyer's agent. They latch on to somebody who's an established listing agent and say, give me your crumbs, right? They say, give me your, they don't want to, the listing agents, when they put a listing in on the MLS, they put a sign in the lawn and get this thing up, they're done. I mean, they're just waiting for deals to come in. That's how it is, right? So they don't want to go showing properties to people. So what they do is when leads come in off listings with buyers or whatever, they pawn them off. Typically, most offices or most listing agents will pawn them off to an associate in their office. Say, you be my buyer's agent, go run. And the listing agent will take a little cut of that deal, and the buyer's agent goes and tries and find these people properties, right? So the listing is where it's at. So the point I'm trying to make is that once you get a real estate agent to get a listing, or once a real estate agent gets a listing, as far as they're concerned, right, they are the king or the queen of the world at that particular moment in time. It's a big freaking deal to them. It's a massive deal to them. Listings, he who has the listings is king or queen. That's the way it is, and that's a common phrase throughout the real estate industry. At least it was when I was, the young buck loan officer running around. But whoever has the listings are king, and that's the way it is. So when they get a listing, it's a feather in their cap. It's a big damn deal to them. It's really, really important. So the fact that through Listing Booster, when they get that listing, it should be a big freaking deal to you, because this is probably the most powerful part of Listing Booster, in my opinion. It really is. So let's just consider this. Let's maximize our efforts. Let's maximize our efforts every time a new listing shows up in Listing Booster. Okay, so what can we do? Let's say we get a new listing from an agent, right? What we should do is pick up that phone and call them right away. Visit them if you can. I mean, maybe they got a listing this morning. You saw it come through this morning anyway, and you're on your way to the board breakfast. You're going to see the agent there. You could certainly have this conversation face-to-face, right? But if you can't, at least pick up the phone and make a phone call. The first thing you're going to want to do when you get through to that agent who's got this new listing, they get on the phone, you just say, hey, just want to give you a call and say congrats on the new listing, right? They're going to be happy to hear this, trust me, because they're proud of it. I know they are. I live with a realtor, okay? They're proud that they got that listing. So to have you call them and congratulate them, that means something to them. I mean, consider this. Would you rather be the loan officer out there that first of all gets notified when the listing comes in and who makes that congratulatory phone call to them, you know, really recently after they get that listing, within a couple of days of them getting that listing? Would you rather be that loan officer or the loan officer who's just going to make a random phone call and just try to have some small talk? You know, I'd rather be the LO that knows they got a listing and is able to give them a call now. Let's talk about that listing. Let's congratulate them on it. So first things first, this is the 5-point conversation we're going to have with every single new listing. Every single new listing, if you pick up the phone and have this conversation, I'm telling you what, it's going to be great. You're going to get new deals, okay? So, number one, congratulate them. Hey, congratulations, man. That is awesome. I'm so proud of you. And they're going to be, yeah, man, cool, yeah. Picked it up the other day, went out there, wrote it up, right? The next thing you want to do is say, cool, man, hey, man, how'd you get it? Ask them how they got it. Why do you want to ask them how they got it? Well, here's why. As I just spent a lot of time explaining, believe me, they're euphoric right now. They've got a new listing. They know they've got a big paycheck coming pretty damn soon. It's pretty much guaranteed. Unless there's something completely crazy about this listing, they got guaranteed money in the bank. They're stoked, okay? So when you congratulate them and then ask them, hey, how'd you get it? What that does, guys, is that gives them the chance to basically relive the experience with you. It might not be that big of a deal. It might be, it's my brother. You know, I mean, that's not that big of a deal, but at least, hey, right on, family rocks. You know what I mean? But it may be something else. You don't really know how that came to be. It could just be a referral from a client they did 5 years ago. That's exciting because that means whatever their efforts were that they were doing over those 5 years, whatever marketing they were doing, whatever phone calls they were making, it paid off and they're excited about their efforts. So ask them, how'd you get it? Let them relive it. Let them tell it to you. And when that, you know, I'm saying these are conversation points, right? This is 5-point conversation I'm talking about. It's not just you want to say 5 things, get 5 answers, and hang up the phone. Let's, you know, we're working on our rapport still, even if these are agents that we've been with for a long time. So when we congratulate them and then we ask them how they got it, it's just giving us opportunity to just have more of a conversation. They might tell you, yeah, man, I did these guys 5 years ago, and they've been in my super duper email campaign, you know, and once in a while I call them, and then you could say, oh, really, what campaign is that? Oh, it's this. Is that how you like it? Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's so exciting that it worked. Yeah, you know, you can have this little conversation. And now point number 3, guys, is the most important point of the entire thing, okay? The point I'm about to show you is everything, because I want you to think about this. Ask them this. Hey, so what's the seller up to, right? The seller. The seller's alone. The seller's alone for somebody. If they're not, unless they're selling their house and they have no loan on it and they're getting all cash and they're going to go buy a house for cash, right? The seller is alone. The seller's getting a loan. He's getting it from somewhere. Where's he getting it from? Let's think about this. You're having a conversation with a real estate agent who's your friend, right? You're having a conversation with a real estate agent who knows you, who likes you, who's working with you, who's a listing booster with you. They're your pal. Well, they're also pals with who? The seller. They're pals with the seller. So why doesn't your pal realtor ask their pal, the seller, you know, if they might want to talk to you, right, about getting a loan? Probably won't even cross their mind unless you ask. I'll bet you $100 that 99 out of 100 people in Listing Booster never have this conversation. Never even get to point 1. Never do point 2. Surely never do point 3. I know guys that have listings in Listing Booster in the hundreds of listings. Those are hundreds of loans. They're loans. They're absolutely 100% loans going somewhere. Somebody's doing them, right? Why not you? Ask. So what's the seller doing? Can I help the seller out? Where are they going? Well, they're moving to South Africa. Oh, well, I can't do anything about that. But pretty much, I think it's, I can't remember the statistics, but it's a very high percentage of people that are selling house to buy are buying easily within your lending footprint. They're buying somewhere that you could do the loan. Okay? They're buying there. So ask the agent, hey, what's the seller doing? Do you think I should talk to them? Maybe I can help with the financing on their next deal. Now, they may say something like, well, yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but I think that they're working with somebody else. Okay? That's not a problem. If they say that, all you do is say, oh, no problem. No problem at all. But, I might be able to get them a better deal. Do you think they'd want to talk to me if I could get them a better deal? Now, I don't know. But I think if I was the real estate agent and this loan guy who had just congratulated me, asked me how I got the listing, and is now asking me about my seller, and then when I said, nah, I think he's working with somebody else, and then that loan officer said, yeah, but do you think they'd want to talk to me if I could get them a better deal? I'd have a hard time saying, no, I don't think so. I think they'd rather have the crappy deal. I think they'd rather have a worse deal. So, I'm just going to let them take that piece of junk loan. I don't think they do that. I think they probably go, well, yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah, well, let me get them. Let me get you in contact with them. I'll ask them because, yeah, and then you say, yeah, tell them we pride ourselves in trying to beat out the next guy. I mean, we really want to do better. So I'd love to have a conversation with them. So try to have that conversation with that seller. So, I mean, what's the worst that can happen here about asking what the seller's doing? The worst that can happen is you don't get to talk to them, right? But the best thing that can happen is you do. I mean, when you say, hey, what's going on with the seller? Maybe I can help them with the loan. Can I talk to them? They might just go, yeah, sure. Let me connect you to them. Let me help. Let me try, right? Or like I said, they might have a little resistance, but then you can be that pain in the butt lender on the other side, right? Maybe he is working with another lender out there, one of your competitors. But now you get to come sneaking in through the listing agent saying, I can beat the deal, I can beat the deal. And then other lenders can be like, I don't want to compete with somebody. But you can be that guy. It's fun to be that guy. It sucks to be on the other end. It sucks to be the lender who's got a guy who now all of a sudden is saying, hey, somebody else is saying they could do better. I hate being that lender, right? But if you could be the guy that's causing the pain, nothing wrong with that. You might get the deal. You might be able to beat the deal. You might get it. So just remember, guys, with every listing that comes in, there's a loan in it that someone is going to do. There's a loan that somebody's doing. And you've been notified that that listing exists. That listing came in through one of your buddy realtors, one of the people that you were like doing business with. You just congratulated, you asked them how they got it so they could relive it. Now you get to ask, how can I help that seller? Let me try. I'd love to have a shot at helping that seller. How can I talk to him? Can I have his name and number? Can I give him a call? Can I tell him you said it was okay for me to call him? Do your sales stuff. Do your due diligence. That's a buyer. He's getting a loan, and he's in your wheelhouse. Go for it. Just a no-brainer to me. After you deal with the seller question, right? You deal with the seller question. You either get the lead or you don't, whatever the case may be. The next thing is, now you move to SignWriters and Craigslist, right? Okay, well, great. Congratulations. That's super cool that you got it through your marketing system. I'm super happy that you're going to let me talk to the seller. I'll give him a call. Well, I got you on the phone. Just want to check. Do we want to go ahead and get SignWriters put up and get this baby on Craigslist? We're looking to do that. And again, we're just making sure that the real estate agent knows that, man, you're a super special LO. You're here to help. You're here to, try and help them get more business, to show their seller, who you'd like to do the loan for, that they do more than other agents. They hang SignWriters. They post things on Craigslist. They do post the websites on Facebook. They do things to get the leads, right? You're just extending your services to this agent who has the ability to give you, referrals. Outside of the seller in this 5-point conversation, right? Before we hang up the phone, and the answer to number 4 is going to be, yes, let's get SignWriters, sure, or let's get on Craigslist. Or they might say, don't bother, I've already got a buyer, just, it's not even worth your trouble. Who knows? But at least ask. You're putting it out there that you care. You're putting it out there that you're part of their business. You're not just a guy calling to have small talk, not just a guy trying to bring donuts to their office. You're part of their business. You're an integral part of their business, right? And then finally, after you figure out if you're doing sign writers and Craigslist, if you got the seller or not. You let them relive their experience. You've congratulated them. Before you hang up this phone, as you should always do, ask for a referral. Why not? You got them on the phone. You're talking to them. You've congratulated them. You asked them how they got it. They got to relive it. You figured out if you can help the seller or not. You know if you're doing sign writers or Craigslist or whatever. You know what you're doing there. Before you hang up the phone, I would even say like this, okay, well, great, congratulations again. And just before I go, just checking in with you here. Is there anybody else you got right now that you're working with that I need to pre-qual or pre-approve right now? Anybody else I need to talk to? Ask, right? Because there may be something that you're just having, there may be something that's just slipping their mind or what have you. And they may go, oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah, I got somebody here. I need you to give this person a call. Or I just got this lead in or whatever the case may be. A simple 5-point conversation that you can have with every new listing that comes in. Think about that. I mean, if you had enough agents where you were getting, I don't know, 5 new listings a week, I don't know, something like that. You've had this conversation 5 times a week. That's 5 sellers, which means there's 5 loans there. They're there. They're right there in your hands. 5 deals on those sellers. You know what I mean? Could you shake a couple of them out? Yeah, sure you can. You know why? Because you're good. You're a salesperson. You know how to do this stuff. You know how to ask for this stuff. You just got to do it. So with Booster, I tell you, there's so many things you can do with Listing Booster. I know this coaching program shows you so many different angles, and so much stuff. But this one thing alone can be worth everything to you. Because with every listing that comes in, there's a loan in it. And it's going to get done by someone. It could be getting done by you.
Can I share my favorite thing about this strategy, Frank?
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolute favorite. I see a lot of loan officers advertising credit repair and DPA, down payment assistance, or that they're the second look, fix a deal, or just kind of get it done lender.
Yeah.
This strategy puts you in front of what I believe are your ideal clients. Your ideal clients are folks that make money, pay their bills, have a good chunk of change in the form of equity in another house in most cases, and they're actually usually pretty darn easy to work with. They're not extremely difficult loans. So this is not high-hanging fruit. This is fairly low-hanging fruit if you learn how to find it and harvest it correctly. The folks that have a house to sell, yes, it's a little bit of pain with contingent offers and whether they can carry one house at a time, but I think most of us that have been in the business a while and are higher level loan officers, we figure out how to have those conversations, and we really love working with these kind of clients. So instead of spending all of our time and energy trying to work the angles that we see all the other lenders doing and perhaps trying to fix deals and save deals and work with folks that don't have any money saved, what about trying to find the folks that actually are ideal clients to us? I just love this idea and this concept. It's just it's perfect. It's the folks that we want to work with all day long.
Yeah, and there's nothing to it. I mean, you get notified every time a listing comes in, every time. So just pick up the phone and go, hey, congratulations. How'd you get that deal? Oh, man, that's yeah. Hey, what's the seller doing? I'd love to try and help him out. Can I help the seller? Where's he going? Oh, he's just going across town. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's working with somebody else. Hey, I could probably beat the deal. Think you'd want to talk to me if I could beat it? Well, no, I don't think he'd want to talk to you if you could beat it. I think he'd rather get the shitty deal. Of course, they're going to say, okay, yeah, well, maybe, yeah, let me connect you. Who knows, man? You can get a seller. I think the seller is the most qualified buyer you can possibly have. He's the most qualified buyer there is. So what if he's contingent? Who cares? In this market with no inventory, believe me, his house is going to sell. And it's going to sell fast. You know what I mean? And not only that, he becomes another referral source to you as well, right? You get a new client, they're all referral sources. Every client's a referral source, right? So I don't know, man. Me and Kian talk about this one all the time. It's like, man, Listing Booster is so cool because, I mean, even if I just worked this one strategy, just if I had some great listing agents in there, providing them their marketing materials, doing all the things I'm supposed to do, put on Facebook and all that. But, man, if I had a good stream of listings coming into my Listing Booster, I get to make those phone calls every single time and try and sniff out getting to that seller on every time because I am absolutely 100% correct. Every one of those sellers is more than likely getting a loan from somebody, right? They're getting a loan from somebody, and you are friends with the listing agent who's friends with them. Those people fully trust that listing agent. They gave that listing agent the listing. They're in with that listing agent. So if you can get referred by the listing agent to the seller, that's a strong referral for you over to the seller. It makes total sense. I mean, for anybody that's on this call right now, I would just say, as the next listing that comes in, start doing these 5 points. 5 points. I'll give the PDF to Kian, to you guys, Fish. You can get it out. It's just 5 points. There's nothing to it. Congratulations. How'd you get it? What's the seller doing? You want to do Craigslist and SignWriters? Before I hang up, is there anybody else you know that I can pre-qual or pre-approve right now? 5 simple point conversation. The conversation might take 3 minutes, 4 minutes at most, right? Unless it goes a little longer, which who cares? You're just bonding, you know. And you know, if for a little 5-minute conversation, you can walk away from a seller, getting a guy who's going to sell his house to buy a house. I mean, he's going to qualify for the next house. He's the guy you want to have in your pipeline, So I don't know, just my thoughts.
Well, look at it this way, Frank. We use the numbers on the example you gave earlier, which was 5 new listings per week.
Yeah.
So 5 new listings per week, 2 weeks off, 50 a year. So that's what, 250 listings? You're asking for the business twice because you're asking about the seller. You're asking if there's anyone else you can help with. Yeah. If you can convert 5% of the sellers into a deal, 5% of an additional referral from asking if there's anyone else I can help with. So those are pretty small numbers. That's an additional 50 deals per year, right? There's an additional 50 deals per year, but just by having making 5 phone calls per month.
Yeah, 50 deals a year. I know loan officers that make their whole career on 50 deals a year. You know what I mean?
Additional $10 million per year for average home price of $200,000. Right.
Oh, and let's not forget, you just introduced 50 new potential referral partners into your database now. Other people you can, past clients. I hope we're asking our past clients for referrals because they're all ready to give you referrals too.
Right. So think about it 3 years from now. If you do this for 3 years, right, consistently, which I've been a Listing Booster member for 4 years, and now I'm kicking myself ass for not doing this for the last 3 or 4 years. But think about it, as you just said, if you're adding people into your database, you're doing a kick-ass job, people are getting to know you, you're asking for the business, you're consistently marketing to them, following up, etc. You're just going to progressively build a business over time just doing things the right way by doing good business, asking for the business, building the database, marketing the database, and building a great reputation. So, this is awesome. I love it, man. All that.
I would just say to everybody, if you got Listing Booster, every time you see that listing come in, the first thing that should go through your mind right now is there's a deal. That's a loan. That's not a listing. That's a loan. It's just am I doing it or not? That's the only question. It's a loan. We work so hard chasing all the leads, right? We generate all these leads. We call them. We drip on them to hopefully, those leads. You got to go through a lot of leads before you get that one to say yeah.
Right.
But the one lead that we ignore completely is the best one of the whole lot. And it's the first one who's already connected to an agent that loves you. Already connected to an agent that loves you, right? All you got to do is tell that agent, let me talk to them. I could probably beat whatever deal they're getting. Come on. Let me talk to them, right? Right there, right out of the gates, there's a deal. It's just, are you doing it or not? Somebody's doing it.
After you have this conversation with an agent 4 or 5 times, after you've had that phone call with that agent, and you're doing it consistently, you're starting to condition that agent now to think of you at this point.
Sure.
So next time they get a listing, they're going to say, hey, make sure you're calling my buddy Mike Fisher.
Right.
And he does a great job. He handles all my financing, my buyers, etc. You'd be crazy not to talk to him. You're starting to condition them to the point that now you're not even going to have that conversation with you. When you pick up the phone and call them, they're like, hey, don't worry, I already gave them your phone number, your number. Here's their information. They're expecting a call from you.
Yeah, they'll be like, hey, somebody's going to give you a call. I took his listing. They're selling his house. He wants to buy it 2 counties over. We're probably looking at $650. His name is Joe, blah, blah, blah. You'd be like, cool. I mean, come on. And why wouldn't they want to give it to you? You're the badass that's calling them when they get the listing, congratulating them, offering to help with it, put up SignWriters, get on Craigslist, get the property websites put on Facebook. You're offering to do all this stuff for them. Of course they're going to be like, I got to help, Okay, try and connect the seller. I mean, why wouldn't they?
I talk to loan officers all the time that are telling me about how their best referral partners all of a sudden aren't sending them as much business. And I say, well, what's going on? Did you screw some deals up, or was there a challenge? Did they find another lender? And the answer that they give me is, well, no, they're just not working with as many buyers. They're doing mostly listings, and they just, they just don't seem to send me anybody because they're doing mostly listings. And, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I need to start advising all these loan officers, hey, are you actually asking what's happening with those clients?
Right.
Because, well, that's fantastic. Your agent has found the promised land. You were working with them when they were less successful. Now
Right.
they're more successful. They have even more business. I mean, you should be, like you say, calling to congratulate them over and over, and you should be extremely happy that that agent has a ton of business and is way better at their job, because they're going to be even better at referring you. So, that's a great way to open up the call. Just,
Yeah.
hey, you're doing great. Your numbers are fantastic. These listings are just coming through left and right. Every week I turn around, you got a new listing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You're right. They're in that. They've hit the pinnacle. They're there. They're what they've striven to be. The listing is. That's where they all want to be. I mean.
that's who
Yeah.
you want to work with too. You want to work with those agents that have that experience and have a good knowledge of the business, because they're the ones that give you the reasonable contracts and help you work through any speed bumps, and generally work with, like we say, like the ideal clients, because they're very good at sorting out what's going to work and what's not going to work. I mean, it's a built-in filter for you.
Yeah.
You got to make
Yeah.
the phone call. You got to make the phone call, and that's the hardest part for most people. And I don't know why, with all the reasons in front of you and all the possibilities and outcomes that could happen. You got to make the phone call. I always see this as a reason for the phone call. On Listing Booster, it gives you the email. Boom.
Yeah.
It lets you know. There's a phone call I got to make.
Yeah.
And it gives you a reason to talk to the agent. And I really like TJ's point about conditioning. Absolutely. The agents you work with in Listing Booster, when that boosted email goes out, they should know that I'm going to have a phone call here pretty quick from TJ.
Yeah.
And they'll get used to it. And he's going to ask me these 5 things, or we're going to have this we're going to have the same conversation, because I have one every other day or every time I get a listing. So I'm going to be ready. I'm already thinking about, all the stuff he's going to ask me.
Yeah.
So it's that reason for a phone call. If nothing else, if you get an agent with a listing and it gets boosted, you got work to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. It's super easy. I mean, the thing is like a lot of people don't call because, like you said, Keen, they don't know what to say. What am I going to talk about? Here, you know exactly what you're going to talk about. Hey, you got a new listing. Congrats, man. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, so happy. How'd you get it? Blah, 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 blah. What about the seller? Tell me about the seller. Want to talk to the seller.
That's right.
It's easy. There's nothing to it.
That's good.
Can't hear you, TJ.
Yeah,
You're muted.
thanks, Frankie.
That's
Appreciate that.
I just like to kind of mind things right there. But I was saying that's a hell of a better phone call than the standard. How was your weekend? How did you get softball game? Did you work an open house? Did you, anyone you need me to pre-qualify? No. Okay, great. Well, keep me in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, we should all be making a phone call like that. But like I said, to have a reason to make a phone call, we should all be more comfortable doing that. It should be a much more effective phone call. Plus, we kind of have a script that we follow, we internalize, we make it our own. And knock these phone calls out in 2-3 minutes, if and just move on with your day.
Yep. That's it.
Yep.
Cool.
I know that when folks reach out to us in Mortgage Shots Kills and through some of the other things TJ and I are doing, they are always asking us, how can I, avoid the phone call? How can I? What's a better text? What's a better email? What should my email say? What should my text say? How can I automate this so that I don't have to do the work? And what did TJ and I always say? Like there's no answer to that. There isn't a perfect text responder script system that works without you being part of it, because you're the salesperson. The conversation with you is your best sales tool, and if you're engaging folks at a sales conversation level and you're really good at what you do, they're going to like you, they're going to know you, they already trust you, and it's a lot easier. So this just give yourself a little bit of a script. Focus more on okay, what am I going to do to make these phone calls, and a little bit less on how perfect are my email follow-ups, and how many times is my automated text going out. The conversion on this is going to be way better than the conversion on your 17th email to somebody on your list of 10,000 emails. And yes, we like having those lists. It's good. It's valuable, and we pull people out of those lists all the time.
Yeah.
But the conversion rate on this phone call is a whole lot better than the conversion rate on your like we said, your 17th email to a list that you have or something like that. So
right.
Well, selling is the transference of feeling. So when you talk to somebody, you have control of that, and you can take advantage of the excitement, the enthusiasm, and just the general good feeling of what's happening. You can't convey that in a text message. There's not one email that we send out any day of the week or any text message that goes out that's going to compel somebody to drop everything and do what you need them to do. I mean, it just doesn't work. You have to be able to transfer that feeling, and having these conversations on the telephone every time is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to transfer your feeling of wanting to help, wanting to do business, wanting to do a good job, wanting to take care of everything, and building that relationship. It will become part of just how you do business, and I'd like to see more of that. It's right there in front. It's right there in front of anybody using Listing Booster, and I think that more people calling and having these conversations at the point of ignition just builds a lot more momentum throughout the process.
I agree. They would have to. They can't not.
Right.
So.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Cool, man.
Without Brian going off on a tangent and going off the rails, we're getting done like 15 minutes early here.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
And we got a late start. Frank, you are welcome more often, man.
Happy to pop in when I can. I really am. I got some stuff.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, I got some stuff. So, well, cool, man. Well, let's wrap this thing up.
All right, thanks.
right,
Do we have any questions or anything here before we cut out?
No. Let's see.
I'm
We'll get this up on the Kills coaching blog at Mortgage Shots, and we'll share the PowerPoint and make that downloadable for anybody who needs it or wants it. Who didn't write it down? That's pretty good presentation, Frank. That's
pretty simple.
Yeah, there's like 15 words on there. So.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see any questions. We're good.
All right,
All right.
cool. All right, James. Thanks. Frank, thanks again,
Bye,
man.
guys. See ya.
good week.